Hi, my name is Bruce Carter, and I'm here to talk to you about forces impacting U.S. construction spending. We'll focus on a couple of areas in U.S. construction spending. We'll talk about whether key events actually do impact U.S. construction spending, which is a key economic indicator, and then compare the level of impact, public versus private spending. So just as a primer, as I said earlier, U.S. construction spending is a key economic indicator. We make decisions based on U.S. construction spending and that forecast, and we forecast other metrics based on the U.S. construction spending actuals and forecasts. This data has been collected since 1960, and it is broken out between the public sector and the private sector. Public sector includes services of facilities that we all use, schools, highways. Private construction includes residential, which under residential is also including like home projects and remodels of homes, as well as non-residential facilities like power facilities, hospitals, and commercial buildings. So let's take a look at the period of the subprime mortgage crisis, so 2007 to 2010. We saw housing prices start to balloon. We saw folks getting mortgages that possibly shouldn't have been getting mortgages and paying for houses that were overpriced. That bubble burst, and we saw bank failures and looming bank failures happening in the 2007-2008 period. And as you look at this chart, you see housing spending for construction actually went down quite a bit in the private sector, as folks were walking away from overpriced homes and homes that were underwater from a mortgage perspective. And the subsequent recession happened during that time. And even though a stimulus bill was passed in 2009, the American Recovery and Reinvestment Act, still took until about 2011 for us to see that shift where construction spending on the private side started growing again. Now, comparing kind of the impact during this period of public to private construction, these charts show actual spending versus predicted spending based on the previous year. And on the public side, even though there's a little bit of noise there, you see that it's pretty stable, that you can pretty well predict what's going to happen the next year based on what happened in the previous year. On the private side, you look at the model and everything looks like it's going to be pretty steady Freddy with a little bit of growth each year. But based on what was happening between month 61 and 120 during the mortgage crisis, there were wild swings up before month 61 of people purchasing homes at a greater rate, lower interest rates, higher prices, but more easy loans. And then you see the crash during that period and the fall off after Lehman Brothers went under. And you really don't see that recovering again until around month 120. So in conclusion, we wanted to prove out the hypothesis that significant events do influence the overall construction spending metric. And I think we've shown that that spending year over year is predictable when you have an environment that's stable, but when you have market shocks and different things that are happening in the U.S. and around the world, it can and does impact U.S. construction spending. And as far as how the sectors respond to the market changes, it is not equal. On the public side, they're influenced more by legislative budgets and local, federal, and state legislative agendas. Versus private spending, which is more individual and more responsible to market shocks and more responsive to some of the other things that are happening around the world and around the country. So thank you for giving me the opportunity to talk to you about this, and I hope everyone is well and that we will be talking again soon. Again, thank you.